Hello everybody and welcome back to Sargent Toughie Plays Final Fantasy IV. So on the previous episode we successfully made it through the Damsian Caves, and I did take a little bit of a break, so this is a pause between recordings. I learned some pretty cool things, including the ability to do this. So I'm now switching my lead character, and what this will allow me to do is functionally and mechanically absolutely nothing, but from a flavor perspective it allows us to choose who is showing the way, and it also allows us to choose whose thought bubbles we see in the pause menu. So I might play around with this a little bit from time to time, but I'm not gonna like obsessively stop and hover over everybody's thought bubbles in between, major events, because we would be stopping like right here, for instance, because this castle's about to get super drive-by. And I will stop every once in a while to just kind of let the character's thoughts and opinions on the matter provide some more flavor. So like Cecil doesn't know what's going on, Tella's very scared for his daughter, so we're just gonna go ahead and move right on along. And Damsian isn't looking too great. So as you can see right here, the castle did take a beating. Lots of dead bodies, lots of broken walls, and we are actually going to not rush right away towards our destination. We're gonna take a couple moments to explore. I'm not entirely sure how we're supposed to... Hang on. I think that this might be a situation where we can Okay, yes. So we're gonna creep off to the side here, and we're gonna go off the grid for just a moment, and we're gonna go towards that little bitty doorway you see right over there. Right here. So this is perfect. We're going to pop open the treasure chests here. So we're not gonna... Okay, so yeah, don't worry. We won't let the treasure fall into their hands, because the treasure is going to fall into our hands instead. So, I think. Just a moment here while I go ahead and figure this all out. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So sorry about the delay here. I have not been in this room in a hot minute, so it took me a moment to remember how to do it all. But we got some good things now. Some things that are really going to make a heavy difference in the power levels of our allies. So what does this ruby ring do? Magic defense, that is not great. How about, so you already have a feathered cap. Oh, hang on. This is actually something we need to do real quick. We need to take away all of Tella's stuff. And don't worry, you will find out why in just a moment. So ruby ring does absolutely nothing. It's actually completely worthless for us. That's a little bit of a bummer. But hey, you play with what the game gives you. I think they have new dialogue here too. No, they don't. So disregard that. We are now going to move forward with the plot because we looted out Damsian's treasure trove. The power bow is not functionally useful to us right at this second, but it will play a somewhat heavy role in the power level of one of our allies who we're actually going to recruit in a dungeon or two. So that will be very nice, but for now it's just going to sit in our inventory taking up space, and that's not exactly a very precious commodity. The game gives you plenty of resources, and I'm just going to talk to a few NPCs and explore these walls just in case there might be anything else that we can make use of. Okay, on with the story. Not just yet, I'm sorry, it's apparently the next room, so we're going to talk to a few of these bodies just to make sure there's no context or anything. So Damsian's crystal is gone, and now we actually go forward with the story.
Oh, Anna. There's life left in you yet.
Father. Edward. He is the Prince of Damsian. He disguised himself as a bard to avoid attention. Forgive me, Father, for running off with him. Edward. I'm in love with him, Father. But I could not stay without my father's blessing. I was about to return when...
The Red Wings laid siege to us, led by a man named Golbez.
Golbez?
Yes. A figure clad in armor of deepest night, his strength beyond that of mortal man.
And the Red Wings' purpose?
Our crystal. And then they rained fire upon us. I lost my mother and father. Then Anna tried to shield me from their arrows.
You love this man that much?
Father, please, forgive me. I was so selfish. Edward, I love you.
Anna! 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 This Golbez. Tell me more of him.
I've heard he came to Baron only recently. It seems he's using the Red Wings to steal crystals.
Tears do not bring back the dead, boy. Anna's death must be avenged. I'll find this Golbez.
Tella, not alone.
She was not your daughter. Her killer will die by my hand.
Anna!
Coward. You're a man, aren't you? A grown man. Stop crying. I have.
Rydia.
You're right. I'm nothing but a coward, just as you say. That's why I'm just going to stay at Anna's side. It doesn't matter anymore. Nothing does.
You're not the only one who's grieving. Anna would not wish to see you fawning like a fool. Please. I've desperate need of your help right now.
But how could I help you?
My name is Cecil. A friend of mine has taken ill with desert fever in Kaipo and needs a sand pearl if she is to live. And for that, I've need of your aid.
You need my aid.
I do. Rosa's life depends on it. I beg you.
This woman you speak of, she means a great deal to you, doesn't she? As Anna did. As Anna did to me. In a cave far to the east dwells a monstrous creature known as an antlion. The pearls you seek form from the fluid the beast secretes as it lays its eggs in the sand. There is no overland route to its den. We must cross the northern shoals to get there. A hovercraft is docked here. With it we can reach the creature's cave. It can bear us across the surf to Kaipo as well. Come. We must hurry. Farewell, my love.
Okay, so a lot happened in that scene, so it's a lot to digest, but as of right now, we have not only a new villain to chase and a new motivation, but we also have a new party member, Edward, who is awful, and we don't like him very much. He's basically the trade that we just made, losing Tella and gaining Edward, was like losing an absolute, like, monstrous, amazing superstar that everybody loves and does so much for our team, for kind of just, like, a not great party member. You'll find, as I play through more of the Final Fantasy series, that pretty much every Bard character in a non-MMO Final Fantasy game kinda sucks really bad. So, that's a little bit of a bummer, but, you know, what can you do? He is a little bit better in this version of the game than he is in others. So we're just going to save real quick, and then we're going to go dive straight into the Antlion's Den. There's no need to really restock or anything like that, so we're just going to kind of get right into it. This is the next dungeon in the game. It's the Antlion's Den. So it's, as I said, just the next part of progression. Edward doesn't have a whole lot going on right now. He can put enemies to sleep, he can confuse them, he can silence them, and exclusive to this version of the game, he also has Salve. where for a single consume of an item, he can actually use it on the whole party. So even though everybody's full of health right here, I'm just going to demonstrate that for you with that. So check out this amazing power that our Edward has. It's amazing. And with this, Edward will at least be valid for a little while, and Cecil is actually kind of dinged up, so that actually ended up not being too bad of an idea to go ahead and do that. I'm actually surprised to see that. Like I said, there was a little bit of a break between recording since last time, so my resources are actually fairly low, but they're high enough that I should be fine. This dungeon is not particularly hard, and there's nothing in here that's really too dangerous. Pardon me, by the way. I'm sorry about that. But there's. I'm just gonna reset for a moment, so pardon my stammering. But there's nothing really in this dungeon that's so terrifying before we get a tent section that I'm gonna sweat that oversight too much. Oh yeah, Edward also has this super overpowered ability, so check this out. It's the ability that makes him not a part of the fight anymore! Good job, what a hero. Isn't he great, guys? It's okay, I'm ragging on Edward a lot, but he's going to be a lot more useful starting in a couple of levels. There's a harp that he's going to get before this cave is over that will increase his damage by enough that he will become a decent kind of backline poke unit, and he will also get a song that actually gears him up very well for the next section of the game as well. So just for this next section right here, I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate how bad his attack is, because I'm just gonna attack this dude and it's gonna do like no damage, and we're all gonna laugh at how bad Edward is. So look forward to that. Yeah, what a hero. He did stop the dude though, so you know, good job stopping the goblin who wasn't even going to attack again, because he's just gonna die because Rydia is a valid party member now. So yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about in the previous couple of episodes. How while we were kind of carried upon Tella's shoulders, our other two party members were kind of power creeping up there. So now they're both actually very good, and they're able to kind of buoy us through what would otherwise be like a dungeon with enemies with a lot of bulk in them. So that's very good to hear. And we're just gonna dungeon dive, and we're gonna kill new things. And we are eventually going to complete the dungeon. And the good thing is that this isn't a particularly long dungeon either. So, okay, there we go. He already got Life's Anthem, so you're going to start seeing the impact of him having learned this song immediately. Life's Anthem is probably one of the best songs he will ever learn while he's a member of our party. And it's a good one. It's a very good one. It is a very powerful regen, so you will see us gain a lot of health back very fast. Not in fights such as this one, where the fight is just over in like 2 seconds. I might be able to just slap down a salve potion for everybody here. Now, Rydia got her spell cast off first. No big deal. The only people that are kind of dinged up is Edward is at half health, and Cecil is down a couple hundred, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm not too worried about it. So we're going to just clear out this area. We're going to do the same thing we did in the last cave, and we're going to just, you know, we're going to get all the chests, we're going to get all the completion rewards, and it will be very good for us. This might actually be, again, not another very good example to show off how powerful Life's Anthem is. Because we're killing everything in this dungeon so fast, we might not get a chance to show off his power until we're actually at the boss itself. I forget if there's anything in this dungeon, like maybe in a later room or something, that might be a little bit more sturdy. But if there is, I will definitely be excited to show you just how good his regen is. For now, you're just going to have to take my word for it that it actually does make this otherwise really not great character actually pretty legitimately useful during the time in the game in which he is still kind of behind the power curve. Because, like, that's kind of the weird thing about this game, where as soon as you get a new party member, they are generally behind the curve unless they are so far ahead of the curve that they just put everybody else in the party at the time out of the water. So, I mean, it is a fairly hard balance to strike. Tella was definitely designed to be just way overtuned for the time in the game in which you got him. And then Rydia just starts kind of bad, and Edward starts kind of bad, so about the only party member that we actually got later in the game than the start that came like relatively balanced relative to the rest of our party at the start was Kane, and that's because the only thing separating him from the start of the game was a single prologue fight, and the only other party member there was Cecil, so you know, big win there, I guess. But, you know, the balance will even itself out eventually. I think that the next party member we get actually comes fairly well tuned relative to the rest of the team, as long as we're not like super over-leveled, so we will see at that point though. It's actually not going to be too long. It just depends on how quickly we get out of this cave or not. Back attack, so we out of here. I really hope that... Okay, so Edward died. That sucks a little bit, but we're just going to burn a Phoenix down on him. And it was kind of my thought for letting him get... It was kind of my fault for like allowing him to get so low without really patching him up there, so that's completely my bad. We will go ahead and pop this down, and we will use one of these, and one of these, and one of these, and another one of these, and we're good. So we still have 9 potions, we still got plenty. Rydia still knows Kira, but her MP is starting to get fairly low, so I do want to start keeping an eye on that. And this is the second room. I know that I didn't complete that other room, don't worry too much about it, we'll be back. So we are going to poke our head in here real fast. I'm pretty sure that the room I'm about to enter is just a treasure room, so... Nothing of significant value to be gained from... We're gonna hide him, just so he's out of the way and he doesn't get smacked by the Admantoise before the Admantoise dies. Oh, Rydia one-shots it. That's actually super good to know. That's actually super good to know, and I know I just said that, but I wanted to reinforce it for the importance of how big a deal it was. So, okay, we got the Lamia Harp. That's very nice for Edward. This boosts his attack by a lot. As you can see, it more than doubles it. So this will actually make it so that he starts to actually sting a bit when he attacks from the back line. It's not going to matter too much, just because between Cecil and Rydia, we're already going to have enough power to handle pretty much every random encounter that this dungeon is going to throw at us. But it'll make an impact for like the boss when everybody's at full health, and I'm not really feeling too stressed about it. So we did get this completion, as I said earlier, we're going to get it in a little bit. So we do have it now, so that's nice. And we do have another treasure room coming up, I believe. And we're just going to one-shot another Admantoise, which is nice. The funny thing is that in later Final Fantasy games, the Adamantoise actually becomes like a super mythical, like rare, hard to find, like super boss turtle that gives you like all the best stuff. I guess that's just because Rydia killed them all in this game, and they became an endangered species because Blizzard is overpowered, so they kind of like natural selection themselves, so the ones that don't get one-shot by a child summoner's Blizzard are just the ones that survived, and they became like these super huge Goliaths. That result in like the ones in like Final Fantasy 12, for instance, that are just amazing. So we did manage to find one of these little sanctuary rooms. We did pop a tent down, and we are going to be full healed at this point. So that's definitely very good for Rydia's mana pool, if nothing else. So we'll just check our status on that real quick. It actually did not fully heal Rydia's mana. So that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, how there are 2 levels of value between the save point recovery items. So later on in the game, we're going to start getting cottages, and I believe that those will be the 100% heals. But for now, tents will be fine. She's only missing like 12 MP, so that's not that much. Nothing to really, you know, cry over for spilled milk or whatever. So we are going to keep on looting this dungeon. I don't remember. This was actually the last dungeon that I did as part of my live broadcast, and the live broadcast was now about a week ago, so I don't definitively remember all the loot stuff that happened in this dungeon, but I do remember that the boss is easy, so spoiler alert there, I apologize, but I kind of lost my train of thought for a second and I had to say something to get it back. But I don't exactly remember if there's anything else of very significant value in any of these treasure chests, but hey, you know, you gotta loot them all, just to make sure. So this is just a dead end right here, so that's fine. So we're going to be able to double back around, we'll grab that last treasure chest, and we will be on with our lives. And God bless Rydia's power spike. Like, she's still not quite where Tella was when we lost him. Like, she's still got a long way to go before she actually gets up to his level. But, you know, a one-shot is a one-shot. It doesn't, like, if the boss, If a mob only has like 80 HP, it doesn't matter if you're dealing 100 damage or 300 damage, or if you're dealing straight 9s overkill damage. Like, you're gonna kill it in one hit. Overkill isn't a thing in Final Fantasy IV. Actually, the only Final Fantasy game it is a thing is it's a thing in 10, and then they actually brought it back for the mobile game I've been playing, which is Brave Exvius. So I might be wrong on this, but I'm fairly confident that this is just a duplicate of, yeah, okay. So we just got a second a Shadow Blade that's only there in case we missed the first one, I guess. So not a big gain there, because we did get the one in the previous cave, but, you know, it's fine. Like Cecil is already strong enough compared to, you know, what... like, his damage is already just about where the enemy's health pool is. Like, he's like 50 off from definitively one-shotting an Admantoise, and he does one-shot those goblin things, so he does enough damage. We don't need him getting any stronger just yet. And we did get another Ice Rod, too, which I definitely remember is equipped on Rydia right now. So we're just going to backtrack a little bit. We're going to finish out that little section right there so that we get our 100% completion reward, and then we're just going to move on with life. So, one more Rydia Blizzard here on all these jellies. And then that will be good. That'll be this encounter over, and this will be this map completed. And I don't remember exactly how long this dungeon is. I remember it's a very short dungeon, so... we actually have another treasure chest that surprises me. So, we got a little Antarctic win there. We're probably not going to use that. I don't really use the consumable items because they scale off of the character's magic stat, which is a little weird because the only characters who would feasibly use them are the ones that don't have magic in the first place, but all the characters that have a high magic stat have magic, so it kind of makes them feel a little bit pointless, and this is going to feel very good as Vengeance. So we're just going to go ahead and smack this guy up a bit, and... okay, so I was incorrect about Edward, by the way. He still sucks. It's okay. He gets better. Give him time. Let him, you know, let him be forgiven. So that felt super good. Remember how that guy was, like, murdering Rydia and murdering Cecil, like, 3 episodes ago? Yeah, so that was very satisfying. So this is the room with the boss. I do remember that now. Okay, so this is the Antlion. It is the second boss in Final Fantasy IV. And it, like the boss that has come before it, has a pair of ridiculously huge, kind of hilarious bug eyes. And we're actually going to get some value out of Life's Anthem now, I believe, unless the Antlion just completely murders Edward before it goes off, which would, while being hilarious, would still make me very sad, because we would be losing a lot of value health at that point. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, he's already got Life's Anthem off, so... oh, okay. So the Antlion counters magic when its eyes are red. So this is kind of the boss's gimmick, so we're actually going to just keep Rydia on defense for now, because we're gaining so much health back at such a fast rate. Like, Edward actually heals off the value of darkness, so you're not actually going to see Cecil lose any health, even though he's in darkness form, just because Edward gives him so much of it. So we're just going to keep defending with Rydia here. Honestly, we're getting so much health back that we can probably just have our team tank the counterattack. But, you know, if you have the opportunity to showcase a battle being done correctly, you kind of should do that. It'll slow things down a little bit, but it's not going to slow things down to the point where we're like, oh my god, what are you doing? So we're actually just losing health at this point. So despite everything I just said, we're just going to go ahead and do it. Even though we're going to get counterattacked. Or not, because Cecil just killed it. So disregard that whole tangent I just went on about being optimal, suboptimal, and counterattack. So you're not even going to get to see the counterattack, but... oh no, you missed the mechanic where everybody takes damage. You know, Lord save us all. The LP is ruined. I'm going to re-record this episode now. But no, so, not too bad. You know, Edward gets health back. Okay, so there you go. This dungeon's done. This is a completed dungeon. So we will go ahead, and I'm fairly certain I got a... Yes. So I got the emergency exit there, so we're actually just going to pop that because the backtrack would be very boring. And we're going to get back into our hovercraft, and we're going to go back to the desert town that we were at all that time ago. Back all those episodes ago, before we met Tella, before Rydia got useful. And we are going to go recover Cecil's waifu. So that will be a good story development at that point. And this will... I forgot what I was going to say there, so I lost my train of thought a little bit. But that's fine, because we're back. So I am going to go stop by the inn and heal us up a little bit, because I want to. And this will be a full heal for us, so it's not like the inn has tent values. If you give them money, they will give you every last one of your stats back all the way up to full, so nothing to worry about there. I forget that, the one thing that I do forget is I don't exactly remember if tents work off of a percentile of your max value, or if they work off of like a hard number, like if you're always just going to be below 100, or if it heals like a base level of 100, otherwise it heals a certain percent. This game is not exactly that complex, so maybe I'm just overthinking it a little bit. So we're gonna stop a little bit. We're gonna give everybody their chance to have their little thought bubbles here. So yeah, you get all this little development. So okay, time to move on with the game. Oh, we gotta use the sand pearl on her first, so come down here, sand pearl. So now we're gonna get the one thing that this game always truly needed, which is a solo encounter with Edward. So this, it's actually only a single Sahagin, so thank goodness for that. It's only going to last a moment. And it is actually, as you can see right here, it's a little bit of a story fight, but because I'm actually inputting the commands myself, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk through it. If there is a cinematic battle scene, like as you've seen a couple times in the past where I've done it, if there is a cinematic quote-unquote battle encounter, like the one that Tella had with Edward just earlier in this episode, or the one where Rydia did the Titan thing, then I will go ahead and be silent for that, as I've already done in the past. So it's only these ones where Edward gets his, you know, motivational speech from Anna about believing in himself, and it makes this fight take 8 million years, despite the fact that it's only a single Sahagin. So she's gone now, the dialogue is now gone. Edward believes in himself, or at least he said he's going to try to. And we're now going to kill the Sahagin, who keeps healing himself just a little bit. And it's actually dead? I think it's dead. Yes, it's dead. Okay, so thank goodness for that. It only took 3 turns, not too bad. Edward got a tiny bit dinged up, but nothing to worry about.
Anna!
Edward, I can be with with you but for this moment. The spirit calls me onward to become a part of it again.
Don't leave me, Anna.
Edward, you must be brave. Golbez cannot be allowed to have the crystals. You gave your love to me once. Now share it with all the world.
Anna, my love. I will try. But what would you have me do?
I am sorry, Edward. I can no longer be with you any longer. I must go become the moon. So, one good thing that we just got is Rosa. And Rosa's gonna be very good for us. So, she has a bow, but you notice that it dropped her attack down to 0. It's because we don't have any arrows. So we're actually going to, 1 second here. We're going to put her in the back row. And we're actually just gonna stop by to look at her thought bubble real quick, because why not? Okay, moving on with the game. We are going to stop by the shop for just a quick moment. You notice that I didn't stop by the weapon shop here. It's because this weapon shop is bad for all of our previously current party members. But because we now have Rosa, there is something that we can pick up, and it's arrows! So we're going to pick up a lot of these. Like, a lot of these. Not so many that it breaks our inventory, but I think 30 should be good. So that's good. That will be very useful for us, especially as we go put that on. So it actually makes her attack stat higher than Cecil's. Her strength is still lower, and her level is still lower, so as a result, she's not going to be dealing as much damage, of course. But the fact that her attack value is so high means that she's going to be a very high value party member. And I just gave her some more good stuff. So not too much, really, that will blow your mind. But, you know, stuff that will help with progression. So I am actually going to leave this town, and I'm going to save, and we're going to call this episode right here before we journey to Fabul to warn them of Golbez's coming, and hopefully save the Wind Crystal. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.